Hey, this is Crow with Crow Sports Crapology. We're coming to you from Torrance, California. We're going to talk about the NFL draft today. I'm going to give you my quarterback, how I rate the quarterbacks in the NFL draft. Might be different than the experts. We got a lot of music going on in the background. It's a birthday here in the place we are, and people are partying. So hopefully you can hear me. We're gonna go at this. I gotta get my notes. I got notes here on another device here. One of my mobile devices. All right, so in the NFL draft this year, we got quarterbacks coming out. There's quite a few quarterbacks in the draft. Probably not most of them, probably about half of them I don't really give a crap about. But there are some really good quarterbacks coming out. And we're going to tell you my rankings. They're going to be different than what you see on the internet and everything else. But my number one quarterback in the draft, some of our fans back here, Judy and Big Game. My number one quarterback in the draft is Sam Darnold. I think he's the most pro-ready quarterback out of USC. He can scramble. He can make plays when he scrambles. He's been in pretty much a pro offense at USC. I think he's the most pro-ready quarterback, the best draft pick in the draft. My number two quarterback is Mike White out of Western Kentucky. A lot of people aren't going to tell you Mike White's the second best quarterback in the NFL draft. But that's my guy. Played in the Senior Bowl. He had pro coaching in the Senior Bowl. He tore apart the defense. He had a pretty good coach at Western Kentucky that has coached in the pros before. And I think Mike White can make it in the NFL. He's a pocket passer. He's not going to scramble around and that type of thing, but I think he reads defenses and he throws the ball very accurately and can make the plays. My number three quarterback, believe it or not, is Mason Rudolph, Oklahoma State. I think he can do it in the NFL. Mike Gundy, believe it or not, is a pretty good offensive coach. I know he hasn't had that many quarterbacks in the NFL. Brandon Weeden, who didn't do so well, but I think Brandon Weeden had situations he got into too. If Mason Rudolph goes to a team with a good offensive coordinator, I think he could actually do something. The Rams probably be a good place for him with the coach they have, very offensive-minded coach. If they drafted him to back up Jared Goff, if Jared Goff gets injured or something, I think Mason Rudolph would be a good backup for him. Then I got Josh Rosen. Everybody has Josh Rosen ranked as number one or number two quarterback. So you can make all the throws. And he can. And he's physically a good quarterback. He can scramble a little bit. He's got a little bit of speed. But Josh Rosen, I would have had him ranked down a lot lower. But some of our other fans back there, she's a Raider fan. Raiders aren't going to draft a quarterback, so it's probably not in this. But Josh Rosen I had down a lot lower, but I got some information from people that were at the Combine, from general managers and coaches that interviewed Josh Rosen and talked to him about the Combine, what he wants to do in the future. And they told me, no, he really wants to play pro football. He really wants to be a good pro quarterback. And so I moved him up. I only have two people that are actually at the Combine that I got information from, but they very positive about Josh Rosen. So I got him like number 3. He locks onto receivers too much and some other stuff when I watched him in college, but they say that he is willing to learn. and he will improve, and they like him. So go with Josh Rosen, number 3. Number 4, I'm going to go with Lamar Jackson out of Louisville. Bobby Patino is coach in the pros. He's put quarterbacks in the pros. Teddy Bridge over troubled waters. Plays for Minnesota. He's done very well. I like Teddy Bridgewater. He's proven he's able to play in the pros. If Minnesota goes with him as their starting quarterback, they'll be okay. They'll win the NFC North again. He's a very decent quarterback. So I believe Bobby Petrino knows how to get quarterbacks ready for the NFL.
Raiders!
Raider fan, we're going to bring him in later because this man has coached a lot of high school football. He's coached some players that are in the NFL, and he knows his crap when it comes to football. He was a defensive back in his day, but he knows offense, he knows defense. My next quarterback would be Luke Falk out of Washington State. The Mike Leach quarterbacks don't usually make it in the NFL, but this guy's broken all the records at Washington State, and I think he's got his head on straight from what I've heard, and I think he can adapt to different offenses, and I think he can learn, and I think Luke Falk would be a pretty good quarterback pick for any team in the NFL. Next, I have Josh Allen, the big 6'5" kid out of Wyoming. He's big. He can't really scramble. That's a negative, but he's got a strong arm. He can throw it 70 yards, which is what they're all ooh about at the combine, things like that. But he's not very accurate. Okay, but I heard he's working with a former NFL quarterback who's coaching him right now on his accuracy and how to make those touch throws and those 5-yard, 10-yard throws better. And they say he is improving. And they say he really does have the want to be a good NFL quarterback. So I got Josh Allen there out of Wyoming. People have him a lot higher because, he throws a bullet like 120 miles an hour. He's got a really strong arm. And he's a big kid. He can avoid tacklers because people hit him and bounce off him, but he doesn't really scramble very well out of the pocket, make plays out of the pocket. After him, I have Kyle Lorietto, the Richmond quarterback. He set all the records in the Colonial Athletic Conference, Colonial Athletic Association from Richmond. Richmond, believe it or not, has had 2 or 3 really good quarterbacks. And he's broken all the records. And the kid has size. He's like 6'4", where he won't break down in the NFL. He can scramble a little bit. And from what I've seen on film and what people say, what I've read, the guy's a pretty good quarterback. And they're gonna, a lot of pros like him. A lot of pro scouts, a lot of pro coaches and general managers like him. He interviewed well at the combine, so I got him there. After that, I got Chase Litton of Marshall, another big kid. Did break a lot of records at Marshall, but they say he's mentally really smart and he can learn. And he's been in pretty much a pro-style offense in college. And they say that in college they didn't really tap into everything he could do. They didn't really make him as good as he could be. And they think if he gets with a good offensive coordinator and a good quarterback coach in the NFL, that he could start in the NFL. So I got Chase Litton out of Marshall next. Then my last guy in the top 10 is Matt Linehan out of Idaho. He is Scott Linehan's son. That's a big reason why I put him in there. His dad's been an offensive coordinator for years in the NFL. I think the kid's got to have a lot of knowledge, and arm isn't everything in the NFL. A lot of his knowledge of how to recognize